drop a rapper like a domino. Any kind of foe, watch me stretch him like abdominals. I'ma line him, yo. Everything I touch phenomenal. Every line of flow, I be styling to get him out of here. Like it's time to go. Made a way in this lane. I'm honing in on the moment, so it's one versus all. Rain over him like I'm roaming in the zone. On this mic, and all I see is opponents. Gave my life to this music. I never chased them diplomas. Never had a plan B. Never thought of aborting it. Killing like a legend. Rated Randall, keep orting it. Really about that action. I ain't about to keep talking it. Butcher like a bull, you losing, so put a fork in it. Animal and hawking it. Living less fortunate. Till I took the Warriors road and then I caught a lick. Ackerman Razor, I bring the pain when I alter it. Flair flowing, every single figure full of gotta wrestle every rap. Catch him when they lack. Lone wolf on his own, putting pressure on the pack. Like Shamrock, I'm a...
Howdy, howdy, this is the Intrepid Traveler and Rabbit Tribe Extraordinaire. And you're listening to Double Turn Radio. Don't be a heel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the only pro wrestling podcast. Wait, this isn't like before. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Xavier Heat. This is my beautiful and lovely co-host, the man with no gimmick, the James Conti. We are back, baby. This is Double Turn Radio. Thank you very much, everybody, for keeping with us, supporting us. We are back and better than ever. New logo, new sponsors, new everything, baby. Right?
That is right. Man, I missed that. Missed that a lot. Yeah, so we went on a hiatus for a while, and really we didn't talk about it at all. We didn't let anybody know what we were doing, but we went on hiatus. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah, my job sucks.
Your job, my career taking off,
yeah,
starting to take off, was a rough fall.
I went on vacation. I just got back from California. It was a big thing, but we're here for you. We figured what a better time to come back than the Royal Rumble, the road to WrestleMania. Like I said before, we got a new logo. If you guys don't see it already, we are going to start videotaping ourselves soon and putting ourselves on YouTube. We're going to be in a whole lot of different outlets. We're getting a theme song. It's a whole new thing. Right now, it's going to be back to the basics, back to the way it was. But very soon, you're going to see a lot of new changes. But, as always, like we always do, let's go ahead and talk about our sponsors. This one's a little personal today. Warriors of Wrestling, they are going to be holding an event on February 9th. That'll be this weekend by the time the podcast comes out. It's going to be February 9th on the Friday. It's going to be a benefit show for the late Frankie Getz. Rest in peace to Frankie Getz. A unfortunate situation that happened with him. You know, I don't want to get into the specifics because it's extremely
graphic and extremely personal situation for that family and for the Warriors family in general. It's not our place to really put our 10 cents in.
Yeah, but it's going to be a benefit tribute show, like we said, to Frankie Getz. His real name is Joseph Pizarro. He was an NYPD sergeant. All the proceeds are going to go to the Pizarro family. Like I said, it's going to be February 9th at Fun Station. If you're in New York, 3555 Victory Boulevard in Staten Island, New York. The doors are going to open at 7. The bell time is going to be at 8. General admission is going to be $20. There's no special pricing for front row this time around. And it's an unfortunate situation that happened. He was a student at the Warriors of Wrestling training facility. And we want to go ahead and say that if any of our fans out there are having trouble, you could talk to us. You could talk to a family member, anybody that you trust. Don't let that get bottled in. You know, I myself have been a victim of, my own demons. And, I want to go ahead and say that I know where a lot of you guys are coming from. And, you have people that you could reach out to. There is hope for you. There is different options for you to go and get help.
There's just so many opportunities now. It's if you just Google, if you're going through stuff and you just Google it, you'll find benefit groups, you'll find people that are willing to help out.
Yeah.
Most importantly, reach out to the people you love the most and keep your friends and your family close, because they're the ones that are really going to help you pull you out of that rut that you're in right now. So with that being said, but Warriors of Wrestling is having this benefit tribute show for Joseph Pizarro, Frankie Getz. If you're in the area,
definitely go and check it out.
Go and help it and help out. It's going to a good cause. For a good guy. Good guy. He always had a smile on his face. He was a student, but he acted like a professional in the ring. And then also, moving on, we got in February 10th, which is it's going to be this Saturday. They've got a doubleheader. It's going to be the Women of Warriors 4. That's going to be at St. Finbar's Catholic Church. That's going to be in 1839 Bath Avenue. It's going to be in Brooklyn, New York. So also, if you're in the New York City area, definitely go and check that out as well. You're going to have the Twisted Sisters. You're going to have champion Nikki Adams versus former NWA Women's Champion Casey Carlisle. You're going to have Nyla Rose versus Jessica Havoc. Team C-Stars versus the Twisted Sisters. You're going to have C-Bunny. All the Warriors of Wrestling women that you usually see are going to be there and much more. That's going to be at 3. The bell time is going to be at 4. General admissions 15. Front row is going to be 20. And then later on that night, you've got Cold Fury, which is also going to be at St. Finbar's Catholic Church. The doors are going to open at 7. The bell time is going to be at 8 o'clock. You've got Jimmy Jacobs in action. You've got Ron Simmons and D'Lo Brown going to be making a special appearance there as well. You're going to have Mike Verna, Man of Steel. You're going to have Darius Carter, the Twisted Sisters, the heavyweight champion Juba. You're going to have the No Limits champion Isaiah Wolf. You're going to have the tag team champions Logan Black and Chris Benet and the Apostles of Chaos as well. Who doesn't want to see Jimmy Jacobs? He's back, and he's got a real career revival. So yeah, definitely go and check that out. Also, we want to go ahead and as well give a shout out to Russell Radar Tyson. Very, very soon, he is going to be dropping a brand new album. I've got all the details on that. I can't speak on it yet. But in the meantime, definitely go and check out his page. His music is going to be in the beginning and end of every one of our podcasts. This week, it's going to be the Gummo remix, where he goes and he goes. It's very wrestling related raps. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a fan of rap, definitely go and check that out. So after it's all said and done, we're here. We're good. It's all of us, baby. Let's go and get it. This is a brand new podcast that we've got going on, a brand new idea that we got. We've always said we were going to do this. We never knew what we were going to do it with at first, where we were going to start it. But we also knew that this was definitely going to be in fruition. It's got a working title. Right now, it's going to be our pay-per-review podcast, where we review classic podcasts, whether it be New Japan Pro Wrestling, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be WWE, and whether it be TNA. We are going to review. We want your feedback very soon. We're going to be dropping polls on our personal page. We're going to be dropping polls on our Facebook page, Double Turn Radio. You can also catch us out on Twitter. We're going to be very social media active as well, coming up very soon. On what pay-per-views we should review, we'll give a choice of about 3 or 5, and with the polling results, we'll go and we will do that review. Sometimes we'll just get an idea, and maybe we won't take it from the polls. Maybe we'll just do a review about maybe a certain shitty or a certain really great pay-per-view. Because we don't want to torture ourselves.
Yeah,
we want to go ahead and
we don't want to do it all the time, where we're just like, geez, this is really awful.
And that's why the pay-per-view today, it's kind of like half and half. Like, I was kind of entertained, and then there were parts where...
Yeah, the first half was great. The last half was a bit of a stinker. But nonetheless, we are here. It's pay-per-view. Let's get into it. It's TNA Lockdown 2006, our very first pay-per-review. The reason why we're doing this is our very first pay-per-review. Honestly, I went to a record store in Los Angeles, and they were selling DVDs for 3 for $10, and it turns out that there were 3 TNA pay-per-view DVDs that I saw.
Oh my god!
So
when you told me that, because you didn't tell me specifics until I got here today.
Yeah.
What's it called? And I was thinking, he picked up probably newer TNA stuff where, like, they're just trying to get it out at that point.
Yeah. No.
And now we've got
golden era TNA.
Golden, and this is like 6 sides ring, impact zone.
Yes.
Cross the line type of impact.
900 fans.
900.
two ramps. Hernandez is still in LAX. Conan is wrestling.
Jim Cornette is the head of authority.
Soon to
We
be
haven't
head of
gotten
authority.
there
We haven't
yet.
got there yet. Larry Zbyszko is right now the director of authority.
Christian Cage is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, we don't have a TNA heavyweight champion right now. It's very insane. It's a very insane, a very weird it's a very weird thing. We have fan interaction in these pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We actually have people making pops. It's all right. It's all right. It's very hot and cold. 'Cause there was stuff where it was really great, and there was stuff where it was really, really bad. But we're gonna go ahead and give our we're gonna start this off. We're gonna start with the first segment. Really, it's the opening vignette which starts us off. Lets us know how this pay-per-view is gonna go around.
Yeah. It recaps the events of every Impact episode leading up to Lockdown 06. And the one thing you keep hearing over and over again, which really sets the tone for the night, is, "Are you prepared to die?"
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they're talking to the fans or if it's supposed to, set the tone for the NWA World Title match.
Exactly.
But you kind of get the feeling that towards the second half of the show, it's directed at the fans. Are you ready to die of the boredom?
Of the boredom of this pay-per-view.
Post Anthem match.
Yeah, it's just a reoccurring like snippet of Christian Cage, who's formerly Christian in WWE. Saying, "Are you prepared to die? Are you prepared to die?"
Because he certainly is, and I mean, well, he's in the right place for careers where they go to die. But actually, he had a pretty decent TNA run.
Yeah.
But not the point. So we get that, and that basically set the tone. We were laughing.
Yeah, they emphasized on the brutality of the pay-per-view. You've got a steel cage wrapped around the entire 6 sides of the ring
for the whole show.
Yeah, exactly, for the whole show. Whether it works or not is to be determined.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on. Actually, we're going to talk about that very soon, because the first match is the World X Cup preview match. It's going to be between Team Japan, which is Minoru, Hiromi Goto, and Black Tiger versus Team USA. Which is Team Japan is from New Japan Pro Wrestling, back when they had a partnership with each other.
Yep. And
then you got Team USA, which is Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and not the Motor City Machine Gun, Alex Shelley.
Yeah, you look at it, it's like also pre-Black Machismo.
Yeah, pre-Black Machismo.
Jay Lethal.
Pre-Motor City Machine Gun, Alex Shelley. And then you just got Sanjay Dutt with the weirdest goatee known to man.
Oh my god.
It's pencil thin. It looks like it was drawn on. Yeah, so here's where we start with the weirdness of everything. Because it's a traditional tag team match, despite the cage, so it's very tight. It's very weird. Usually you would see a tornado tag in all of these matches, but that's not the case this time around. It's a traditional tag match. I don't know. It was pretty good. It was actually a very strong opening to the pay-per-view.
Right. And you had people who enjoyed it. The fans were very into it. Once they got past, like, I think they were very on Jay Lethal's side the whole match.
Yeah.
And it was very evident because he started wrestling. He was doing a lot of mat wrestling with
Goto.
Goto, yeah.
Yeah, with Goto, and then it was very mat based. A lot of strikes. You could definitely tell. Strong style was definitely there because New Japan was stiffing the shit out of Team USA every chance they got. Yep. When Black Tiger tagged in, they gave the history of Black Tiger and Tiger Mask for a little bit, which was good because if you didn't know New Japan at all, or if you were just getting introduced to New Japan, they gave you a little backstory when it comes to them. They gave you a little backstory on Minoru and Goto as well. Jay Lethal and Alex Shelley seem to have a little bit of beef with each other. Alex Shelley, this was the gimmick where he had a paparazzi camera follow him around all the time. So similar to, I guess, what Melina and like Team M&M like had going
Right.
on, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very dated.
Yeah.
All this is very dated.
This is all very early 2000. I mean, what we consider the early 2000s style gimmicks. It's just, you know,
somewhat cheesy.
It's cheesy, but at the time,
it's relatable because this was a shitty time in the world.
For the world.
Exactly. It's just a shitty time in pop culture.
Yeah, we're still, yeah. It's just, but it worked at the time. I remember it being big thing at the time.
Yeah. So you get some great wrestling, a lot of back and forth, a lot of stiff shots with everybody. You know, these were the most athletic guys. It's X Division guys. This was the cruiserweights before the cruiserweights were the cruiserweights. You know what I'm saying? So it was very good. You got some great spots. It was a wheelbarrow. It was a wheelbarrow bomb to a code breaker to a line salt from Team USA. You also had an electric chair senton from Alex Shelley and Sanjay Dutt. Team Mexico came out to the ramp out of nowhere. It was Puma, Magno, and Shocker, aka video game or Spider-Man characters, whichever one you want to.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. They stood on the ramp. They didn't have any effect on the match. It was just there to make the appearance because they're doing the what is it, the X Cup or whatever.
It was the World X Cup. This was just a preview. This didn't really have any stipulations to it. At the moment, Team USA was beating the ever living shit out of Goto while each one of them took turns and the other two were holding Japan back. Alex Shelley hit Sanjay Dutt with a super kick by accident. That got Jay Lethal to get hit with a monster head kick and an insane tiger suplex from Minoru, and then which get Team Japan the win. So very good opening match. Very fast paced, very hard hitting. We were kind of like, wow, we might have actually got a decent TNA pay-per-view out of everything.
Yeah, because the only thing I've seen from this pay-per-view itself, which is what we were watching, was Christian Cage at Abyss. I've seen that match before, but other than that, I had not seen anything else from this pay-per-view. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, we might have gotten, we might have dug into the shit and pulled out a golden nugget.
Yeah.
But, and we'll get to where that changes later on.
Yep.
And it actually has to do with this segment, which basically
we'll get to the match. Yeah, it's a precursor to what the match is later on.
Yeah.
So you got JB backstage interviewing Team 3D. Spike Dudley's there, but we can't call him Spike Dudley because of copyright infringement apparently. And then Spike Dudley is now Runt Dudley. Bubba Ray starts talking about Team Canada and how the USA is the best. And then Bubba Ray calls the WWE a miserable company. He kind of name drops them, but not name drops them. He said the miserable company
over in Stanford.
Yeah, exactly. And then he said that I'd rather work for that company than hear the Canadian national anthem being played. Brother Devon goes and asks him, like, are you kidding? And Bubba Ray was like, nah, I'm just ribbing everybody. So it was kind of weird to hear, like, backstage wrestling terms and all that.
Yeah, because this is around the time where, they were still kind of treating it as like a sacred thing.
Kayfabe was
kind of still alive at this time. I want to say kayfabe really died around 2009.
Yeah,
like that's where I dated. I know some people will say, "Oh, kayfabe died in 1999," but for me, kayfabe dies in 2009, right around that time. But anyways, so yeah, it's. Even today, you go back. I watched some of the wrestling from like Shane McMahon name drops a whole lot of backstage wrestling terms in the ring sometimes in his promos from like 2010.
Yeah,
which is weird. So it's like whenever you hear those, it's like back in the day, like we look at it now, and we're like, oh, that's cool because they said that on TV. Nowadays, it's so commonplace that like when they do it, it's like when Cena,
whether those terms are being used or not,
like
correctly or not,
right? Like Cena and Roman just they dropped how many backstage wrestling terms on each other.
Exactly.
But that's not. We'll talk about Cena and Roman another time. We got that pay-per-view to
Yeah, definitely. But up next, we got Christopher Daniels versus a mystery opponent. Christopher Daniels walks out to the ring. As soon as he steps in the ring, we've got theme music playing for his mystery opponent. You think that they would have some suspense going into it. But there wasn't at all. It was Loki, but Loki is now not Loki. Now Loki is Senshi. So this was the birth of the name Senshi.
And they really, on commentary, like, as we're watching that match, they really wanted us to know, this is not low-key.
This is
Senshi.
yeah.
Like, they must have said it about 30 times, even
Yeah.
though they kept referring to him as previously low-key.
Yeah, previously known
And
as
the
low-key.
fans don't say Senshi. They were chanting low-key the whole match. So,
exactly.
what did it accomplish? I don't know. And he's wearing, like, Adidas shorts with kick pads.
Yeah, it was very weird. The Low-Key, apparently they were former tag team champions in NWA. They were when they were called Triple X. So I guess they were trying to build to that. Like, that was the story of the match, is that they're former tag team partners. And Low-Key comes back to go and fight his former tag team partner. They kind of get face to face with each other, kind of trying to size each other up and figure out what the hell is going on. Daniels looks confused, and then Low-Key immediately starts brawling with him. During this whole match, they start explaining the meaning of the name Senshi, which I guess in Japanese means warrior. And then they emphasize how much the X Division will change with the addition to the roster. This match was okay. It was very weird. The pacing of it was a little odd.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was like, because I wanted to say it was a good match, but for some reason I just couldn't. It was just so weird. And it was like, I don't know. Something was off. I don't know if maybe it was because, it took too long between big spots. I really don't know. But nonetheless, we got an okay match, I guess. I mean, like I said,
it was very stiff.
I feel like, just to go back and talk about, like, the whole mystery opponent side of this whole match is Christopher Daniels looked so shocked. And the fans, I don't even think the fans understood what was going on yet until he was at the ring.
Yeah, I don't think they knew that this was supposed to be a mystery opponent. I don't think they really announced that this was supposed to be a mystery opponent at all.
And they definitely didn't play it up. So, like, Christopher Daniels is the only one that's really shocked. Everyone else is kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, Senshi looks like he was going to kill Chris Daniels every time he hits him. Daniels hit a Death Valley driver to turn the tides of the match, and then he hit the best moonsault ever for a 2 count. Senshi, then at some point, Christopher Daniels tried to hit the angel wings on Senshi from the top rope. It didn't work. Senshi blocked it. Then Senshi started going on the offensive. Chris Daniels reversed something, tried to hit the angel wings again. Then Senshi reversed that again, and then cheated with a dirty pin using the leverage from the ropes. So Senshi wins the match
via dirty pin.
And I don't know, because it was very weird, because they were trying to give Senshi the face pop, but he was using very dirty tactics, and he was being very like aggressive. He wasn't really being a face.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, he didn't really play up to his character very well. And it was just, I don't even think they knew what the characters were going into that, because even Christopher Daniels looked like he could have been a heel at some points in the match, or even been a face. So I really didn't know, and especially because he took the heat at the end of the match. Like, he took the dirty pin. I figured, okay, I guess he's the face.
Yeah, you really couldn't tell who was who.
And I guess that played into why eventually the fans kind of fizzled out of the match.
Yeah. Because after when Senshi won, nobody really gave a shit.
Yeah.
So after this, you've got JB. Oh, this is where it just goes crazy. This is where it just goes downhill. You got 2 matches in. We were right. We were 2 matches in.
Yeah, 2 matches in.
So you've got JB interviewing Bullet Bob Armstrong. The New Age Outlaws, which are called the James Gang, at this point. It's Kip James, aka Mr. Ass from the WWF, with Road Dogg. They're with Bullet Bob Armstrong, who is Road Dogg's father. Bullet Bob is gonna have an arm wrestling match with Conan, the leader of LAX, and the winner the winning team has to give the losing team 10 lashes within the cage. It was very, very corny banter between the 3 of them. Larry Zbyszko came out in almost every JB promo and almost every JB backstage interview asking what the big news that corporate has for tonight.
Which had no effect on the show whatsoever.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. So, yeah, it was just very corny banter from the three of them. Then we get a music video. It was a vignette.
It was the vignette to promote the arm wrestling match.
But it was a music video with reggaeton music, which is like Spanish rap music if you don't know. And it was highlighting the feud between LAX and Bullet Bob. At some point, we had no idea.
I thought it was going to turn into a smut film real fast. I was very afraid. But and then we go. I guess like after that, after we realize, oh, what the hell are we about to watch? I guess we just will go right back into saying that because if that's what we were saying anyways, we go right into Bullet Bob Armstrong versus Conan in an arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
And you asked me as they're walking to the ring, yo, how do you think this is gonna go? I go, well, wrestling is still cartoony. Wrestling is still like this non-believable art. Or I was like, Bullet Bob Armstrong is gonna candidly, a 66-year-old Bullet Bob Armstrong is going to candidly defeat Conan in this arm wrestling match.
And guess what? You were correct, sir, because 66-year-old Bullet Bob fucking Armstrong won after some back and forth. Conan managed to make it fucking believable that he was losing the arm wrestling contest
to a 66-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only thing Conan's not serious like a late period at is his arm wrestling game.
Apparently
that's the only thing he's not serious about.
Yeah.
Get your arm wrestling game up.
So
let's do it 10 years. It's been more than 10 years. Let's get 78-year-old Bullet Bob Armstrong and do it in Impact now.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. So after this, Road Dogg and Kip James come into the ring. They cut a promo about the lashes. LAX is visibly upset that they lost. The words "Say hello to my leather friend" came out of the words of Road Dogg, and he called them Menudo. For all my Spanish people out there, I know why you're laughing when you hear that. They start after some arguments between LAX saying, and then there was a magic stipulation that if LAX runs away, and don't take the lashes,
they get suspended.
Yeah,
out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, you'll get suspended. I guess we don't have much of a choice, do we?
After the first lashing, there was a boring chant, and then the second one was hit, clean. There was still chanting boring after a little bit. Kip James hits a homicide before they were counting down to 3 every time they hit him, and Kip James hit him before they counted down to 3, and then there was a brawl with the belts. Eventually,
everybody got their lashes, but
Road Dogg started just lashing out, not figuratively and literally, on homicide. LAX fled, and the James gang and Bullet Bob stood tall. This was an awful segment.
Yeah.
This is like,
again, this is exactly what, I mean, the TNA isn't going downhill yet in terms of where it's at right now as we're watching it at Lockdown 06. It's not there yet. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Was Kurt Angle even there yet?
No.
Kurt Angle wasn't there.
Kurt Angle was not there yet. So, I think Kurt Angle came in later this year or the year after. I think it was like late 2006, early 2007 was when he showed up. After this, JB interviewed Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, and America's Most Wanted, which is James Storm and not Bobby Roode. I found out his name. His name is Chris Harris. I want to say Chris.
It is Chris Harris, yeah.
Yeah, it's Chris Harris.
It's Chris Harris.
So Larry Zbyszko came in asking about the news again. Oh, and then he said that because there's a lethal lockdown match between Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, and America's Most Wanted, and Sting, Ron the Truth Killings, AJ Styles, and who was the last one?
Sting, Ron the Truth Killing, Rhino.
And Rhino. So Larry Zbyszko said that Jeff Jarrett's team won the coin the
Coin
coin
toss.
instead of the coin toss to figure out who's gonna have the first advantage in the match. So Jeff Jarrett and his team have the advantage. Not Bobby Roode cut a pretty good promo towards the end of it, and then the big bad booty daddy Scott Steiner came in and fucked it all up.
Yeah, he just starts again. If you've seen one Scott Steiner promo, you've seen them all.
Yep.
Unless you've seen the math promo, which is his best promo of them all. Because I really thought that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him start cutting fucking math promos, telling me that there's 6 people in the ring and I got a 66% shot of beating this guy.
Yeah,
because if he had done that, it would have been infinitely times better. Because eventually he was just like, I'm ready to snap, and that's how he ended the promo. I was like,
yeah, apparently he's a hired gun. He's an assassin. The fucking promo went in all different directions, but that's exactly what you expect when you get a Scott Steiner promo. So after this, we've got an escape match, which is people in the X division, between Elix Skipper. Who the fuck knows who this guy is?
Who 3 years from this event would be retired.
Yeah, he was in a group called Diamonds in the Rough, which was headed by Simon Diamond, who's an old ECW guy. It was Elix Skipper, Petey Williams, Puma, who was in Team Mexico, Chase Stevens, another guy who we don't know who the fuck he is,
or where he's
Shark
at. Boy,
and the other half of the non-Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin.
This is pre give me the belt because I've stuck around longer than everyone else.
Exactly. 6 wrestlers. The rules for this match, because I had no idea what the fuck this match was about. James, my lovely co-host, had an idea. I have got no fucking clue why. But it was 6 wrestlers enter the ring. It was an elimination match at first, so it was pinfall or submission. Then the last 2 people in the ring standing tall, it goes to an escape rules match where the first man to leave the cage wins. So once again, they used the tag rules. Which is really fucking awkward.
Until like halfway through the match,
where it just became a shit show.
Yeah, where everybody just started pinning each other.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. It was really fucking awkward at first. Scott D'Amore and Simon Diamond work out a plan to have Petey Williams and Elix Skipper be the last 2 in the match, and then they it'll be mano a mano between the both of them. Shark Boy does a lot of the work at first. He hits a top rope Russian leg sweep on Elix Skipper, and then out of nowhere he gets pinned by Petey Williams after eating a Canadian Destroyer. After this, it was pin after pin after pin. Really awkward stuff with Chase Stevens going in. Everybody was hitting hot tags and finishers galore.
Yeah.
Who knew who the fuck the legal man was at this point?
So at that point, yeah, that's when the pins started flying. Because Chase Stevens did the shooting star off the top of the cage with nobody catching him. Not a soul caught him.
Yeah, he did a shooting star press off the top. He landed right in the middle. Petey Williams sold it like shit.
Yeah, Petey Williams was nowhere near where that shooting star press was supposed to hit, and just was like, okay.
Yeah, and then the commentary team tried to save it by saying that Petey Williams caught the leg of Chase Stevens right at the very end, where he very visibly did not at all.
Yeah.
Elix Skipper eliminates Chase Stevens with a really weird kind of Hurricanrana rock bottom kind of move. They said the name of it, but I really didn't give a shit because I was trying to wrap my head around how the fuck that move worked out. Yeah. But it did. Petey Williams pinned Elix Skipper with a roll up out of nowhere, which kind of messed up the plans between Simon Diamond and Scott D'Amore. Chris Sabin pinned Puma, who I forgot was in the match, after a cradle powerbomb. And then now it's Petey Williams and Chris Sabin, who joined wrestling together, around the same time. And now it's the stipulation is to only escape the cage. Chris Sabin tried to escape at this point, at some point during the end of the match. Scott D'Amore blocked him from escaping, so Petey could land on the floor. Then Scott D'Amore, out of nowhere, I don't know why he decided to do it, but caught Petey Williams in an electric chair style.
Yeah, and that allowed Sabin to escape before Petey Williams. And again, this was another match that, they try to administer rules. The rules don't work out. We end up getting one big spot in the match, And after that, it was just, how the hell do I get out this cage?
Yeah.
So this is really where, it really... and for the most part, when it was one-on-one, it wasn't terrible. I guess because I find Shark Boy weirdly entertaining. But, it's okay until, the rules start breaking down and everyone's pinning... And because then at that point,
But it was just a shit show of a match. Just an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
So Chris Sabin landed on the floor first, and he won. So you saw there's some dissension between Team Canada, which both Scott D'Amore and Petey Williams are on. After this, JB interviewed James Mitchell and Abyss. James Mitchell quoted a German philosopher about awakening a monster.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Was that his name?
That was his name.
Friedrich Nietzsche. How the fuck do you know that?
Only because I done a paper on it not too long ago for a philosophy class.
That's wow. I'm
So
so
the
sorry.
fact that I used that same quote was pretty incredible.
So you get some good stuff out of James Mitchell. Samoa Joe was in backstage. No, actually they gave us Samoa. I'm sorry. There was Samoa Joe vignette promoting the match with Sabu. Samoa Joe is undefeated at this point for 10 months. And Samoa Joe's undefeated at this point in time for 10 months. And Larry Zbyszko, who's the director of Authority, got Sabu, who's outside of the X Division, to challenge Samoa Joe for the title. We have that match immediately after the vignette. And it was...
For the time it was given, it was a good match. Because
Yeah.
A lot of psychology. Because in this match, Sabu went into it with a broken arm. I think they said it was a match in Mexico, which caused it.
Yep, and Samoa Joe was targeting that throughout the match. It was a very quick match, by the way, too.
Yeah,
it wasn't very
extremely
long.
Sabu got, he got his 2 cents in, and what's it called? He got his parts, and then. Sorry, we're actually finishing
this pay-per-view,
and AJ Styles almost died.
Yeah.
Anyways, and what ends up happening is Samoa Joe muscle busters the crap out of Sabu
for the win.
Yeah,
but you also missed that Sabu was bleeding 2 minutes into the match.
Oh, that's right. 2
minutes into the match, Sabu started bleeding. His face was a crimson red. And then Sabu had a spike that he was trying to kill Samoa Joe with.
God, yeah. And then that actually, they worked that really well. I mean, not in the terms of, oh, hey, there's a spike in the ring. But, Sabu was going to go and stab Samoa Joe's face, and Samoa Joe instinctively goes after the broken arm, throws him into a cross arm breaker, and the referee then takes the spike out of Sabu's hand. So, it works out in terms of, they're still working this broken arm. It's still a very weird part of the match, but nonetheless, whatever works, I guess. It's TNA. And it was actually pretty good for that time frame. Like I said, a very, 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 I wish they had gotten more time. Because there are some matches on this card that got, we're going to talk about another match that got more time than this. I mean, and this is the X Division Championship, a division which they were really building up, and for the most part, building up very well.
Yeah. It was absolutely just to see that this match only got about that short. It was maybe less than 10-minute match. I want to say it was about a 7-minute match.
Yeah, I was gonna say
7-8-minute match. Was really disappointing. After this, we got JB interviewing Team Canada, talking smack about Team 3D. No one seems to like Larry Zbyszko at all. He keeps trying to ask who knows about the announcement from the TNA corporate. Nobody seems to want to tell him at all. And then after this, we got Team Canada versus Team 3D. It's a capture a flag match. The team to get their flag gets their national anthem played throughout the arena.
Oh, wait till we get to that.
Yeah. Eric Young and Brother Runt were blocking the flags from getting captured. This is the first tornado tag match that we got throughout the night. I don't know why this match out of all of them, but that's the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. And when it's for the most part really, really boring. Really, really boring. There's not a whole lot going on, and the only thing it's just you know what it is I look at this match and I look at Bobby Roode and Eric Young, and it's like, I look how far they've come, because this match was boring. The finish the false finish was pretty good, with the exception that, the referee, there's really no point of a referee because it's almost like a ladder match, and there's no referees in ladder matches. So, like, that felt really weird. But there's a referee in the cage. The referee gets knocked out. How, I don't remember. I don't know if you wrote that down, but I don't remember how he got knocked down.
The referee got knocked out. Give me a second. Let me go to my notes. The referee got knocked out. I think what happened was the guy who's A1 hit the referee.
Okay. So
A1
A1 hits the referee. Referee gets knocked out, and they grab the flag. The Team 3D grabs the flag, and they come down, and they're all excited and everything. And then they realize the referee isn't awake. He's knocked out, and so they get attacked by Team Canada. Team Canada goes. They take the
Scott D'Amore hit whatchamacallit with Scott D'Amore, who's the the leader of Team Canada, hit the gatekeeper with a steel chair, which allowed him to get a table and bring it into the ring. Then Team Eric Young tries to hit Brother Devon with top rope elbow, misses, hits the table. A1 and Bobby Roode get hit with 3Ds, and then the ref was miraculously up. Team USA captured the flag, and they cut to a commercial.
Yeah.
For some reason, after the win.
Yeah, and they've got the flag. They're supposed to have this anthem played. I guess they did not play the anthem, but the fans start singing it, and as they're trying to promote this next half of the show, as I'm sorry, I almost said JB. Mike Tenay and Don West are trying to promote the next half of the show. Then the fans are overwhelmingly loud singing the national anthem.
So they cut to while they're talking about the Abyss versus Christian Cage match, they cut the camera to the people singing the national anthem. So it was like very weird, like what was happening in between that they had to cut to a commercial because I got the DVD. We didn't get to see what happened in between that, but it faded to black and then it came back out of nowhere. So it was very weird.
Right.
It was very stupid, very like outrageously, it just didn't need to happen at all. But nonetheless, they did that. After this, Christy Hemme comes out to the ring for really we don't know what fucking reason at all. But it was to give Mike Tenay an envelope about the major announcement teased throughout the night. Apparently TNA is reviewing everyone and going through a restructuring.
Sounds very reminiscent to the TNA we've seen for the past 5 years.
Yep.
In real life.
Exactly. Someone is becoming the new TNA head. And then that person is putting Larry Zbyszko, who is the director of Authority, on probation. Larry Zbyszko comes out and talks to Mike Tenay about the announcement, starts yelling at him. And then the announcement also said that Raven has been reinstated. And Raven comes out. Raven chases Larry Zbyszko. Larry Zbyszko goes inside the cage. While then he goes and calls for security. And security comes out to separate Raven. This was
a waste. Because it didn't have any effect on the show. So, like, this big announcement usually would have, I would figure, has some kind of effect in the main event, in the World Heavyweight title match. No, nothing. This set up for stuff that happened in the future. Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was for future storylines. There was nothing that went with it. Raven didn't come out for the rest of the night. Raven literally just came out for that and that only.
Yeah.
After this, we've got JB interviewing Christian Cage. Christian doesn't come. He doesn't speak at all. He doesn't say anything at all. He just walks right out to the ring. And next, we've got Christian Cage versus Abyss for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and the 6 Sides of Steel. This was a very brutal match. It lasted 14 minutes. Abyss worked Christian for most of the match.
Including before the match, before they actually got into the cage.
Yeah,
they fought through the crowd.
Exactly.
And it was just, it was a brutal match. Do I feel like watching it, based on the story at hand, was it brutal enough to like, make that story really, because they built the story. His wife's getting stalked, he's getting attacked in his house, he's getting nearly drowned to death. Was it a are you prepared to die match? And it didn't feel like that. It felt very...
In the beginning.
In the beginning, it
didn't feel like that.
In the beginning, it did.
No, I think the opposite. In the beginning, it didn't, because it was just them fighting through the crowd, and then just Abyss is just beating the shit out of Christian Cage. Then towards the end, when they get the thumbtacks, when they get the weapons out, I believe at this point Abyss got Janice out too, but Janice got thrown out of the ring. James Mitchell was handing Abyss everything to throw at Christian. They were bleeding. There were thumbtacks all over the place.
Yeah, and Abyss is also one of the only guys I've seen, as far as 2006 goes, take a face bump on thumbtacks. So that's a lot of credit in that. And those thumbtacks, there were a lot of thumbtacks, and Christian even got some when he hit the unprettier on Abyss.
Yeah.
So Christian wins the match off of the unprettier onto the tacks.
Yep.
He retains the NWA World Heavyweight title, and he's attacked at the end of the end.
Yeah. Abyss decides he's gonna go crazy because he lost the match. Yeah. It was definitely bringing up Abyss as like a top contender. I actually don't know what happened between the both of them after this. But it was all right. It was for 14 minutes. It was a pretty brutal match towards the end, but it didn't live up to expectations when you're expecting utter brutality, but out of the both of them.
Because there was no point in the match, I'll be honest, where I thought Christian was entirely in trouble. There was and that's the thing you need to build, is that especially when you have a babyface like Christian as the heavyweight champion. If you're trying to build that this is a brutal match, you need to feel that at some point in that match that hero, that good guy is in trouble, that he literally could lose this match. And there was never really a false finish that I felt fit that, that mentality, that real that psychological part of the match, and I guess that's my real reason for not enjoying it all that much.
It didn't feel like it was, it didn't feel as personal as they try to make it out to seem at all. Christian won. He retained the NWA World title, even though Abyss walked away with it. Then after this, we've got the Lethal Lockdown match between Sting, AJ Styles, Ron the Truth Killings, and Rhino versus Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, and Team America's Most Wanted, which was James Storm and Chris Harris.
Yeah. Pretty good, actually. It's not entirely, dog shit.
Yeah.
It's, what
everybody was bleeding.
Yeah, it's Lethal Lockdown to me has always been a weird concept, and it's just because it's so over the top, and that's the reason why I've never been so into it. Hell in a Cell is a very basic concept. It is a larger cage with a roof on top, and there's weapons involved. It's not like a normal steel cage match. This is a little bit different.
Yeah, this is kind of like War Games meets
Hell in a Cell meets
Hell in a Cell
Elimination Chamber. Not even, because
Elimination Chamber
meets the Royal Rumble, because they got people coming in and out. Yeah. Constantly. And the thing is, there's constant fighting on top of the cage, whereas usually in Hell in a Cell matches, the focus is the top of the cage, but like we were watching during the match, AJ Styles is doing a ladder spot on top of the cage with Chris Harris, and in the ring you've got Sting and Jeff Jarrett dueling with the baseball bat and the and the guitar. So what are we supposed to focus on? Where's the big focus and all that?
Yeah,
There's a lot going on at once, and that's the main problem. But for the most part, in terms of the actual wrestling that went on, it was not terrible. There were some good spots, and it's just, you know, like I said, I just don't like Lethal Lockdown. I don't think I've seen a Lethal Lockdown and been like, oh wow, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was a shit show all around. Gail Kim got involved. Gail Kim tried to stop AJ Styles from hitting a I don't know what the fuck on Chris Harris. Yeah. Up on top of the lethal lockdown.
She took a hell of a shot from the cage door.
Yeah, she took a hell of a shot from the cage door. Sting's Warriors won.
Yeah, and I mean that was to be expected because for the most part, I mean, you know, I figured, I had the feeling because there was, especially with the build up to this, just, you know, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, you knew Christian Cage, like, you could tell, like, honestly, if you as long as you watched the interviews from this night, you could basically figure out how each match went.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I think the only match that as I'm predicting it, as we're watching, I think the only match I didn't get right was, let me see what the card was again. I think the only one I didn't get right was the Team Japan one, the opener. Yeah. I really thought, with the way Lethal came out to that ovation, I really thought Lethal and Dutt and Shelley were gonna win that match.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
I guess it just gave Team Japan some momentum going into it,
yeah.
And it showed some dissension to be, you know.
Yeah, it was. But overall, honestly, if I'm watching the first half of the show, probably up until, you know, like I look at it this way: the opener was good. The Senshi Christopher Daniels match was very weirdly paced, so I really didn't care too much for it. Bob Armstrong, God.
Just why?
Why?
Just why was that there?
The Escape match was kind of dumb, with the exception that, you know, the guys in the match wrestled it pretty well. Samoa Joe Sabu was only a 6-minute match, so it didn't have a lot of time. Just made Samoa Joe look extremely dominant. You know, there are a lot of psychology involved in that match. The capture the flag Anthem match was pretty stupid. Christian Cage and Abyss was good, but it didn't live up to the hype that it should have. And then Lethal Lockdown, I've just never been a fan of. Lethal Lockdown, nor was I a fan of this match.
Yeah.
And with that is Lockdown 2006.
What do you give this pay-per-view, my good friend?
Are we doing it out of 5 or out of 10?
We're going to do it out of 5 Jeff Jarrett chair shots.
5 you mean guitar shots?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. 5 Jeff Jarrett guitar shots.
I would give this pay-per-view a solid 2 Jeff Jarrett guitar shots out of 5. Because it is watchable. It is one of those TNA pay-per-views that is watchable.
I am going to give this a good 2.5 Jeff Jarrett guitar shots. I feel like the matches that were supposed to delivered in a way. Definitely the Team Japan versus Team USA was a great opener. Samoa Joe and Sabu, although it was so short, it gave you a taste of what that feud could have been. The Lethal Lockdown match, although a bit clunky, it did do its job when it comes to, you know, brutality, and it comes to giving us good spots. It comes to giving us, you know, different matchups between everybody. So I thought it was a little better than expected. This was, you know, when it's clunky, it's bad, and when it's bad, it's really bad. You know, so it wasn't perfect. It's nowhere near great at all, but it was decent. It was watchable. I give it a good 2.5. Jeff Jarrett guitar shots. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was our first pay-per-review. First of many. We've got 2 more TNA pay-per-views coming at you in the near future. We're also going to do some New Japan pay-per-views. We're also going to do some...
I think it's fair that at some point we will review Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah, we're also going to do some WWE pay-per-views as well. Check out our collaborations with Dinger for 3. with Chris Scott. He's got a great podcast over there. We go and we link up with him every time there's a Big Four pay-per-view. James was at the Royal Rumble. You're gonna, if you didn't hear his Royal Rumble reactions by now with me, definitely go and listen to that as well. This is gonna be the start of something great with Double Turn Radio. New stuff, new. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Xavier Heat, wrestling's favorite hothead, and next to me is my beautiful and lovely motherfucking co-host,
the man with no gimmick, the James Scott. This is Double Turn Radio, signing off.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Bye.
We all know him. Rated R.
Zuzi on the track. Yo, drop a rapper like a domino, any kind of foe. Watch me stretch him like abdominals. I'ma line him, yo. Everything I touch phenomenal. Every line of flow, I be styling to get him out of here. Like it's time to go. Made a way in this lane. I'm honing in on the moment, so it's one versus all. Reign over him like I'm roaming in the zone. On this mic, and all I see is opponents. Gave my life to this music. I never chased them diplomas, never had a plan B. Never thought of aborting it. Killing like a legend. Rated Randall, keep forting it. Really about that action. I ain't about to keep talking it. Butcher like a bull and you losing, so put a fork in it. Animal and hawking it. Living less fortunate. Till I took the Warriors road and then I called a lick. Ackerman Razor, I bring the pain when I alter it. Flair flowing, every single figure full legit. Gotta wrestle every rap. Catch him when they lack. Lone wolf on his own, putting pressure on the pack. Like Shamrock, I'm a snap. I bet you they tap. Eugene with the flows, how I'm special on the track, boy. If I'm rapping it, bet you I'ma wrestle it. E, I've been down since they was effing it. And I got the raps that'll get us out the deficit. Bet that you a clown if you think it's something less of it. It's effortless to send a message to the pessimist without a precedent. So never stress how I'm finessing it, cause I'm the best at it. Best there was and never will be. And the lesson is I'm about to buzz until they kill me. Flooding with the real non-gimmickal. Wrestling and rap mixed together, that's the pinnacle. Coming for the crown, I'll finish you. Bet it's going down for the count, like the ref. Wrong step, and I'm pinning you. When I'm finna do, stomp them like finna do. It's my time, no waste a minute being cynical. Push him to the limit. I ain't really a cocky cat, but who you know gun wrestle rapper Takashi track? Besides me, they couldn't even copy that. I gotta be the best. How could I not be that? Right here on my back is where the rock be at. And it's the people's champ. I'm about to rock you, gotta wrestle every rap. Catch him when they lack. Lone wolf on his own, putting pressure on the pack. Like Shamrock, I'm a snap. I bet you they tap. Eugene with the flows, how I'm special on the track, boy. If I'm rapping it, bet you I'ma wrestle it. E, I've been down since they was effing it. And I got the raps that'll get us out the deficit. Bet that you a clown if you think it's something less of it.